In a nation rich with cultural heritage and deep rooted traditions, Filipino values play a significant role in shaping the identity and behavior of its people. However, while these values are often celebrated with their positive impact, they also carry certain weaknesses that impact individuals and the society as a whole. This time, let's explore some of these weaknesses as highlighted in the April 27, 1988 report of Senator Leticia Shahani entitled A Moral Recovery Program Building a People, Building a Nation. And this session, you are expected to discuss the strengths and weaknesses of the Filipino values and aside ways by which schools can counteract the weaknesses of this Filipino character. First, we have this extreme family centeredness. While close-knit family ties foster support and unity, they can also lead to nepotism and favoritism, hindering fairness and meritocracy in various aspects of life, especially when it comes to work. Next to this one is the so-called extreme personalism. While personal relationships, especially with family members, are valued, excessive loyalty to individuals, like hiring family members or relatives to work in a certain department. Next, we have here lack of discipline. This is another weakness of the Filipino character. Despite being resilient and being adaptive, a lack of discipline in personal habits and work habits or work ethics hinders individual and social progress. Most of there are some of the Filipino people who lack discipline, and this is the problem of more or less some of the Filipinos that they have this lack of discipline, especially to count the throwing of garbage anywhere. So that's a manifestation that we lack self discipline in that particular matter. Next one here is passivity and the lack of initiative. Though Filipinos are known to being cooperative or there is this cooperation between each other, but we have this part of ours that sometimes we become passive and we lack that initiative. So, excessive deference to authority can stifle innovation and critical thinking, perpetuating dependence on external solutions. So, the problem here is we are waiting for other like members in the group to tell us the solution. There are some people who will not be initiating more or less what are the things that they should do in order to solve this particular situation. They are kind of wait for other people to tell them on what to do. So there is no initiative or automaticity on that particular aspect. The next one here is we have colonial mentality. It is known to everyone that Philippines has been colonized with so many colonizers, especially Spain, Americans, and then the Japanese colonizers. And we have this based on the effect, the post-colonial effect. So we have this colonial mentality. Despite cultural exchange, an inferiority complex can erode national identity and pride. There are some of us who like to purchase items that are coming from outside the country, like imported ones. And then this particular aspect hinders the effort towards self determination and, of course, cultural resurgence. Next one, the very common Kanya-kanya system or the so-called and the Talangka mentality. This one here, though Filipinos are known to be hospitable in all aspects, and then that hospitality of ours is admirable, but envy and competition can also foster mistrust and divisiveness, impeding collective progress. There are a lot of situations when someone will go up and then you will do your some people will do their best to pull that particular person down. Next part here is the lack of self-analysis and um, self-reflection. While the so-called humility is valued, there is the lack of introspection, perpetuates complacency and resistance to change. Of course, that's the normal reaction of people when there are changes. We tend to resist to that particular change, and with that, when we do it, we hinder personal and societal growth. It is said in the field of sociology that whatever change that we have to embrace the change for us to move forward, for us to grow, for us to progress. Next one here is this one, emphasis on forma over substance, or we are very much concerned on the looks other than the substance. It is said in the 21st century, kind of learners, or in the 21st century, creativity is more or less celebrated, creativity is needed, but the excessive focus or too much focus on that particular aspect, like appearances, can breed to superficiality and materialism, overshadowing the deeper values of integrity and character. So, this is what happened to the new generation, more or less. This is based on my observation that they more or less focus or they give much regard to how they look, more or less. The looks, for example, the submission in school for submission of project, the cover page is very creative, or yeah, it's kind of pleasing, but when it comes to content, there might be or there will be problems when it comes to content. So, in conclusion, while these Filipino values embody many strength, because more or less Filipinos are known, especially the hospitality aspect, it's known to the world that we are like these, but they also harbor weaknesses that would require careful consideration and introspection. Especially these weaknesses of the Filipino character must be addressed by more or less the education sector, because they are the one who mold young minds. Addressing more or less these weaknesses, it can foster a culture of excellence, integrity, and social responsibility. Again, the relationship between the school and the community is very significant. We have to work hand in hand together to build more or less a stronger and more resilient nature. And education sector cannot do this without the participation of the other social institutions.